Control and others that are not opinions, preferences, desires, and aversions, in a word, everything that is inherent to our actions, are under our control. On the other hand, the body, wealth, reputation, authorities, in a word, everything that is not inherent to our actions, is beyond our control. This is how the manual or guide to life of the famous Greek philosopher begins. If you want to live a fulfilling life without an excess of soul afflictions, you must understand that there are things under your control and others that are not. Our duty is to spend our energy on what is under our command and ignore what is not. One of the greatest problems a human being can face is the opinions and judgments of other people. It's practically inevitable to be affected negatively or positively by them. If you truly want to avoid being affected, you must understand that the opinions of others, insults, or any type of personal attack are not under your control. In the Manual of Life, we learn how to act in the case of being the object of an offense. Therefore, the purpose of this video is to extract the teachings from the famous Manual of Life in order to achieve a mental state that allows us to reduce or eliminate all kinds of suffering arising from the judgments of others. Through 8 teachings or principles extracted from Epictetus's Manual of Life, you will learn why you shouldn't worry about external feelings and how to achieve a state where opinions cannot harm you. If you're new here, consider subscribing so you don't miss out on all the valuable content we're preparing for you. Watch until the end and don't miss any useful content. Now, let's get started. Number 1. Insults or offenses. Number 1. Insults or offenses. Epictetus says, "Remember that he who insults or strikes is not insulted, but rather his own judgment that these actions are offensive." Therefore, if someone provokes you, keep in mind that it's your own opinion that is disturbing you in the first place. Try not to be swayed by appearances, for once you gain time and calm down, it will be easier to control yourself. One of the keys to not caring about the opinions of others is to understand that the insult or offense is not inherently harmful. The emotional discomfort that accompanies the insult actually comes from how we process that insult. When someone belittles you or disrespects you, think that this insult will only harm you if you allow it. If you react negatively, the true worth of a person should be measured by how much they can tolerate negativity. Unfortunately, life is like that. When you feel insulted or offended, ask yourself, do I want to win or lose? Do I want to yield to what I cannot control? Let me draw a parallel with Stoicism and pleasures. If we want to stop being influenced by them, we must not fight against desire because desire will never disappear. The difference lies in how we process that desire, if we completely surrender to it or ignore it. In this way, if you manage not to be disturbed by the insult, the satisfaction you will feel afterward will make you someone superior and capable of advancing steadfastly through adversity. Surely, you're thinking of that time when a negative comment ruined your day or week despite your efforts. Let me tell you that I understand how you feel, as everyone has been in that situation at some point. If this is your case, I recommend you keep watching, as in the next principles, we will address self-control. Number 2. Maintain firm purposes. Number 2. Maintain firm purposes. In this principle, we must understand that if we want to avoid being affected by the opinions of others, it's as follows. If you have the firm purpose of understanding philosophy, prepare yourself from the start to be ridiculed and suffer mockery from the crowd. Prepare to hear people say, "Suddenly, he became a philosopher," or "Where does this arrogant attitude come from?" Make sure not to adopt that arrogant attitude and stay firm in things that contribute to your well-being. Remember, if you remain steadfast in your position, the same people who used to ridicule you will end up admiring you. But if you let yourself be convinced by others, you'll be ridiculed twice. Those who wanted to become philosophers. But even if you don't want to become a philosopher, this principle proposed by the Greek can be applied to any other aspect of our lives. This principle is essential, as many people neglect their true talents just to please dissenting voices. What Epictetus tells us is that if we allow our purpose to be influenced by the fear of others' opinions, we won't fail because we tried and didn't succeed, but because we yielded to the opinions of others. We shouldn't interpret this as a failure but as a real problem. When a person gives up just to avoid social conflicts or to prevent others from opening up about them, it's worth persevering. Even if there is mockery or questioning for a while, after all, by moving forward, you'll be living according to your own nature. I recommend you think about this whenever you need to make a decision in your life, consider your priorities, and understand the true reason behind your choices. Number 3, don't worry if someone speaks ill of you. If someone harms you or speaks ill of you, remember that they do so with the belief that they are right in doing so. However, you should not assume that everyone will always act according to the rules you consider right but may not be right for them. The important thing is that everyone has their own perspectives and values, and we cannot control how they perceive us. So when they judge you based on a fake or unfair appearance, they are actually harming themselves by passively missing the opportunity to understand you better and get to know you. Based on these principles, be patient in enduring judgments from others in all situations. Remind yourself that you should not invest too much in other people's opinions about you. What matters is that you know who you are and hold on to your values within. Imagine you are an emerging artist, and you have created a perfect painting just the way you want it to be. You are proud of your work and share it on social media. However, you receive some negative comments from a few people criticizing the way you used colors and techniques in your artwork. In this case, you can remember that those people have the right to their own opinions and may not agree with your style. You cannot control how they perceive your work. Instead of being influenced by negative opinions, you can patiently endure and remind yourself that your work still reflects your quality and personalization as you intended. You should not let those opinions undermine your confidence. Number 4. The power of mental resilience. According to Epictetus's perspective, in today's fast-paced world, it's all too easy to let external circumstances dictate our emotional state. Whether it's a rude comment from a colleague or an unexpected obstacle, we often find ourselves surrendering our inner peace to external negative influences. But why do we allow these external factors to invade our mental space when we would never dream of letting a stranger enter our physical home? Epictetus, the ancient Stoic philosopher, advises us to treat our minds with the same respect as we do our bodies. The problem lies in our lack of discipline and self-control. Just as you would never give the keys to your home to anyone, you should not allow insults or obstacles to open the door to your state of mind. The solution: build a fortress of self-discipline and mental resilience. Start by recognizing that an insult only becomes an offense when you perceive it as such. The power to maintain your inner peace lies within you, not in the words or actions of others. The next time you feel yourself on the verge of anger or disappointment, pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, is it worth losing my peace of mind? Often, you will find that it's not. By practicing this simple yet powerful form of self-control, you will not only avoid unnecessary emotional fluctuations but also enrich your life with newfound inner tranquility, a life less burdened by external negativity and a resilient mind amidst life's challenges. Imagine the freedom that comes with emotional mastery. Are you ready to fortify your mental home and restore peace? Keep following as we delve deeper into the transformative power of Stoic principles. What steps will you take today to safeguard your mental home? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let's build a community based on the wisdom of Stoicism. Number 5. Don't pay attention to the idea of living in shame. If not receiving respect is a terrible thing, then others have the right to make us sad. That's not how everything works. The truth is, you are only someone in things within your control and dependent on your decisions. This principle is truly important in our age. Have you ever done something you didn't really want to just to gain the approval of others, especially on social media, for example? Social validation on these platforms can be like a poison to someone. We should ask ourselves, is it worth changing our true nature just for a bit of satisfaction? Is putting our mental happiness in the hands of others worth it? My answer is very clear, no. I advise you to reflect on this because we've all been caught doing something that made us feel ashamed but had no malicious intent at some point. Why care if they laugh at you or forget you in popularity? Do you really believe your happiness depends on how famous you are? If you live like this, you will always be in a constant state of conflict because your happiness is not in your hands. Therefore, you will live in a constant state of tension, changing your nature to avoid losing reputation. One of the key points of Stoic philosophy is to only care about what's within your control and remain indifferent to what's not. In terms of offense, remember that no one can hurt you unless you allow them to. If someone harms you or speaks ill of you, remember that they act based on the belief that they are doing right. Not everyone can act the way you see as right, but for them, it's reasonable. When you go out and encounter an unexpected rainy day, you have two choices. You can get angry, upset about the unfavorable weather, or you can realize that the weather is not within your control and decide not to let it affect your mood. The natural world doesn't change because of your emotions. The only thing you can control is your reaction. Try practicing patience and understand that not everything is under your control, and it's a way to live happier and more peacefully. So if someone judges you based on a misconception, it's their own mistake. Therefore, be tolerant of those who speak ill of you with patience and repeatedly tell yourself that it's just how they think. Number 6, act according to your best judgment. We should not be ashamed when others see us acting according to our principles, even if they may misunderstand what we are doing. This is part of the process of self-expression and self-realization, and it requires courage to protect our values and principles. If we act in a way that we believe is right, why fear the misjudgment of others? Confidence in accepting oneself and one's decisions is crucial. It is not always possible to gain unanimous approval from everyone, and that's perfectly normal. This also applies when using social media platforms where our happiness often depends on popularity or validation from others. Using social media can easily make us overly dependent on the opinions and judgments of others. Sometimes we may be drawn into acting to please them instead of pursuing our own path. Imagine you are a scientific researcher working on a complex research project. Your approach has breakthrough potential and could change how we understand an important issue. When you share the research results with the scientific community, there are those who support and acknowledge your work, but there are also those who are willing to criticize and question your methods. In this case, you should not change your research methods under the pressure of others' opinions. Instead, continue to adhere to the process and develop your work in the direction you believe is right. This helps protect your independence and creative thinking and not pay attention to the misguided judgments of others. However, this perspective can lead to losing ourselves and our independence. We need to remember that self-acceptance and our ability to make decisions are more important than the judgment of others. Maintaining confidence in ourselves and our values will help us go further on the path of life. Number 7, exercise high control for an insult to turn into an offense. Epictetus once said, "We must have the same respect for our mind as we do for our body." I'm sure you wouldn't allow a stranger into your home every day, knowing the threat it poses. However, when we receive an insult and treat it as a crime, we allow that person into our soul and let them stay there for days. Afterward, we allow strangers into our soul when we would never allow them into our home. Imagine you have a close friend whom you always trust and share personal secrets with. One day, you overhear that friend giving you a negative evaluation and revealing a secret you shared with them in absolute confidence. Initially, you may feel extremely angry and hurt. You feel like your soul has been violated, and you feel a complete loss of trust. In this case, you can consider that you have allowed that friend to intrude into your soul and create significant harm. However, after careful thought, you realize that your friend may have been mistaken in their evaluation of you, and their negative reaction should not dominate your soul. Instead of letting this incident create a prolonged negative impact on your soul, you decide to try to understand and forgive that friend. By doing so, you not only maintain your self-confidence and trust in the friendship but also avoid letting this incident control your soul. This demonstrates your discipline and self-control over emotions, helping you maintain a positive mood and making your life more comfortable. To reach a state where we can overlook negative emotions arising from a crime, discipline and self-control must be accumulated. Apply this to all situations in life, including within the family. When you get angry, control that emotion, as it will prevent a lot of unnecessary suffering and make you feel more comfortable with yourself. This will bring about a significant change in your life. Number 8, no one can hurt you. Through this 8th principle, we analyze the motives of the person sending insults. What it tells us is that we cannot expect everyone to act according to what you consider right or your worldview. Such thinking can be very harmful. We should consider the following: is it really possible to believe that everyone shares the same worldview as you? Such thinking is quite naive. So if someone insults you and believes they understand you deeply, consider the following thought: you know who you are, you know what you think, you know why you act, and why you do what you do. The only one who truly understands the truth about you is you. Therefore, in the case of a stranger insulting you in some way, you should ask yourself, have I acted wrongly? If the answer is no, ask yourself, can I understand the motive behind the insult? Clearly, you cannot. Suppose you are participating in a discussion on a sensitive topic with a group of friends, and someone in the group begins to criticize your opinion strongly. They point out weaknesses and disagree with you. According to Stoic philosophy, you can handle this situation as follows. First, examine your opinion. Reconsider your opinion and see if it is supported by evidence and sound reasoning. If you believe your opinion is well-founded and reasonable, confidently defend it. Second, don't react strongly. Instead of getting angry or reacting strongly to criticism, remain calm. Think about the resilience and composure that Stoic philosophy encourages. Third, understand the other perspective. Try to understand the perspective of others. They may have their own reasons for their views and may not necessarily agree with you. Respect different viewpoints and avoid unnecessary arguments. Fourth, know yourself. Remember that you are the only one who truly understands why you hold your opinion. You have thought carefully and have your own reasons. There is no need to feel insecure or lacking confidence in the face of criticism. Fifth, learn and grow. Instead of feeling offended, see this situation as an opportunity to learn and grow. You may be able to draw lessons from the perspectives of others and improve your opinions in the future. With Stoic philosophy, you can navigate through criticism and handle it calmly and resolutely, helping you maintain inner peace and focus on personal development. Therefore, in the case that you have acted correctly and face a lack of understanding of the motives behind the insult, you should be satisfied because you are the only one in the world who understands yourself the best. In the case that you have acted correctly, you should not bear the burden of regret. As Epictetus said about those who insult you, that's how they see you. To conclude, I want to end with the following lesson from Epictetus. Do you think you will last long enough to become worthy of the highest progress and adhere to the principles of theory you have received? The philosophical principles that you should be familiar with are, you are no longer a child but an adult. So if you continue to be negligent, lazy, and constantly procrastinate, everything life will pass by while you are still blind until the day you die. What do you think of this video? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you are new here, be sure to like and subscribe to join us on the path of knowledge. See you in the next videos. Goodbye.